This week in the Restroom, we get our Peter Chung animation on to flush a live-action sci-fi turd from 2005. We've got Cirque du Soleil stunt work, runway model costumes, explosive pinballs, rich a-hole villain names, and actor Charlize Theron decked out in a black fetish bodysuit like she's on her way to a goth yoga class hosted by Robert Smith. It's Aeon Flux, and before we flush it, we're gonna take it out and play with it a little. Restroom Cinema. We're here to flush it, so you don't have to see it. Greetings, everyone. I am Honor Knight, your head cinematic flusher, right here in the Restroom. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-cinematic flushers, Midwest movie mogul Colleen Griffin.
Hey, hey, hey.
And sassy cinephile Sarah Polton.
Hi.
Hey, before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that SRC is one of the nominees in the comedy category for this year's Podcast Awards. And we encourage you to head over to podcastawards.com, sign up, and nominate us for Best Comedy Podcast. Nominations are only open until July 31st, so shit or get off the cinematic bowl. There's a link right in the show notes. It's super easy, and it's free. Go nominate us in all your favorite shows right now. Let's kick off this flush with a round of Thunder Dump. Blow some ass. I'll put 60 seconds on the Restroom clock, and we're going to go around the cinematic bowl to see who has the worst alternate title for this week's cinematic turd. The loser will then get to read the RSS, that's Restroom Stall Stats, in a funny voice of my choosing. Here we go. Griff!
Acid reflux.
Fulton!
Paul Ryan's wet dream.
I had atomic flux. Not quite as strong there. Griffin!
Demonic can't.
No. Fulton!
Clone Wars.
Oh, really? I had Blue Steel, the movie. Griffin!
What the flux is going on?
Oh, that's getting lazy now. Fulton!
Aeon sucks.
You took my one. I don't know if I can do that. I had Aeon Furiosa. We can do that. Griffin!
Biodumb.
Fulton!
The hand made in hell.
That's a stretch. I had this movie Flucking Sucks. Or Fluxing Sucks. I wish I read that right. Griffin!
She took my last one.
Oh, Fulton!
I read it out.
Oh, send in the clowns! Or clones. Shit, I read that wrong. God damn it.
You
blew my own. I fluxed up my own joke. All right, that is time. That was a very interesting round of Thunder Dump. However, we got to have one loser, and the loser this time, of course, is going to be Miss Colleen Griffin. With her second one, she kind of blew it on. And the third one, she was stretching. So this Griffin's going to read the RSS Restroom Stall Stats in the voice of a dumb model. Well, you got a choice, Griffin. You can either do it as a dumb model or Derek Zoolander. So
I'm a Zoolander.
Have at it.
Aeon Flux is a 2005 American science fiction action film based on the animated television series of the same name created by Peter Chung. It was directed by Karim Usama and written by Phil Hay and Matt Manfredi. Oh, I am much more of a man than Manfredi. It stars Charlize Theron as the title character, Marton Csokas, Johnny Numero, Sophie Okonedo, Pete Postlethwaite, and Frances McDormand. Frances McDormand? When did she get out of Fargo? The film was released on December 2nd, 2005 by Paramount Pictures in the United States. The film was panned by critics, or was it derelict? Grossing $52.3 million on a production budget of $65 million. That's almost as much as I put into my Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good. The film holds a 10% rotten rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with the consensus starring Aeon Flux lacks the gravity-defying pace of its animated predecessor, and despite some flash, it's a largely dull affair.
All right, there you go. There's your Restroom Stall Stats. Thank you very much, Derek Zoolander. Boy, if you ever want to know what a 93-minute kidney stone passing was like, we got the film for you. Jesus Christ. The only thing that were in flux in this turd were my hemorrhoids. Hey-oh!
Well, no, it had like a floating ovary, like circulating.
Well, we'll talk. Yeah, we will talk about that. Yeah, we've got some shit going on here. Hey, we have an idea to adapt a groundbreaking animated series, but it's going to look nothing like that series. That sound cool?
I do want to say before we start this, Honor, do you want to say what we're tying this into?
Yeah, this week your tie-in, before we get through the opening notes here, this week your tie-in is, what the hell are we doing? Oh, Atomic Blonde, right? If you're going to go see Atomic Blonde tomorrow with Charlize Theron, here's your 2005 Charlize Theron. Go ahead, Griff.
God.
She actually, on her press tour, made some comments about this movie. She said, when Aeon Flux came to me, I thought that could be something. I'm not done.
That's a polite way of saying it looked like garbage, but they were going to give me a lot of money, so I said
shit
yes.
ton of money.
I was never completely sold on the entire concept, but I really loved Karen Kusama's movie, which is Girl Fight, starring Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh, yes.
So I threw myself into that with the belief that she's a great filmmaker. And then we fucked it all up. She said that with a laugh.
Wow.
I just don't think we really knew how to execute it. And it's disappointing, but it happens. I've been in this business long enough to know that you cannot get it right every time. I might have gotten this, meaning Atomic Blonde, right because of that. So, yay Charlize Theron for owning how shitty.
Yeah, she doesn't own it. Yeah, we're still gonna call her to task on this as we go through it, but I'm gonna give her a little bit more credit for that because she did agree.
She wants us to. Yeah. I think I would not hate you for tagging her in this. But before we shit on her, let's just applaud her for shitting on herself first.
Okay. All right, golf clap. Okay, there you go. I don't think Aeon Flux creator Peter Chung has stopped throwing up since 2005 over this turd. That poor guy.
You know that he and the V for Vendetta guy just they burn copies of these DVDs every night together.
They must, because Peter Chung has gone on record saying he hates this film. He actually voiced his disappointment over the film. He's from Korea, and I think he lives in LA now, and he teaches at USC. In a class over there, but awesome. yeah. So he's here in the U.S. and he's still doing animated stuff. And God bless him. Like his animated guys, if you haven't seen, anybody listening to our show should have already seen the Aeon Flux MTV animated series. If not, pick it up. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece of animation, and
it's got that kind of '90s grotesque vibe that you saw in things like Ren and Stimpy and Beavis and Butthead. That's kind of gross, but you're kind of into it.
It's anime.
But it's a little gross.
Yeah, it's super fucking gross. But yeah, he's got a weird style.
This doesn't capture that at all. Anything about it.
Well, this is gross, but in a completely different capacity.
It reminds me of when they first tried to do the Capitol in the first Hunger Games movie. That's what this place looks like.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, exactly.
It's sterile, and the thing is, the original series was not sterile.
No, you're right.
It was grimy and edgy and dirty.
Yes, exactly. Do you think at some point Charlize Theron called up Scarlett Johansson and told her, "Don't do it"?
Oh no! Do you know how many people I said I was doing this film, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Charlize, she's not even Asian," and I was like,
"Oh,
that's
Jesus.
Not the Asian one.
No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong white woman. You got to go with."
I was like, "That's Ghost in the Shell."
Yeah, that's a different white woman. That's a whole different white. Yeah, you got to keep those white chicks straight. Oh God. MTV Films. From the music television station that brought you such great films as Joe's Apartment, Dead Man on Campus, Pootie Tang, and the god-awful Footloose reboot. Enjoy!
Hey, every time I see that TV logo, I think of Joe's Apartment.
Yeah, Joe's Apartment, which actually is, I put it in this category of crap. But Joe's Apartment's a much better film than this one, so you're better off going.
So is Pootie Tang. Thank you very much. It's a great film.
Paul, you might want to dial it down just a little bit.
Pootie Tang is great.
I own it on DVD.
Oh God! All right, well there you go. 2011, a virus kills 99% of the world's population, but unfortunately not everyone involved in making this turd. Oh. We're getting like words on screen, folks. That's what I'm doing the narration, and then we're gonna get actual narration. Two big no-nos that Miss Polton knows not to open your film with, but we have to double up in this 93-minute mess. A scientist, Trevor Goodchild, develops a cure because the name Holly Goodhead was already taken. This one for the Bond fans. The Goodchild dynasty reigns for 400 years, as opposed to the TV series Dynasty, which only ran for 9 seasons.
Or if you're British, Dynasty.
So this is how we're setting that up, folks. Humanity's wiped out, and we're down to one city in the entire world. Everything's a big jungle. Aeon Flux. Despite a fly landing on Charlize Theron's eyelid being a big fuck you to creator Peter Chung, if a fly landed on my eye, I would instantly punch myself in the face and kill it instead of casually pulling it off. I think everybody else would too.
That was such an iconic moment from the original.
I know,
and it was so like blah.
Oh, that was the nod to Peter Chung, who hated this movie. So I mean, at least they played him some homage and then after that, folks, everything that Peter Chung did is thrown right out the fucking window. I'm telling you right now, if you're a fan of the series from this point forward, everything that he did has nothing to do with this movie. All right, it's a completely different movie. Some call it the height of human civilization. Not with all that early 2000 hair walking about it isn't. Slow motion opening resembles a futuristic ad for erectile dysfunction. Anybody understand what was going on? The city shots and the close-ups of the people walking around, hair parted to the one side, and kids playing in fountains. I don't know.
Maybe Edward Scissorhands was one of the 1% that survived, and he does the haircuts.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tim Burton here, folks. A lot. They call themselves the Monnikins. What they should be calling themselves are Paris runway models, since Theron is decked out in a whacked-out mosquito netting helmet around the 4-minute mark. I had to check the credits to see if Derek Zoolander was the costume designer. Jesus Christ, guys. Between the Frankenstein shoes, thigh highs, and leather skirt, Theron looks like she's on her way to either a fetish nightclub or a Cure concert. This is a terrible outfit.
Anybody? They were going for the Matrix, and then they ended up at like the party store for Halloween costume version of the Matrix.
Well, also, can we talk about how she's like the worst covert agent ever? Because she screams like, "I'm on a mission."
Yeah, she's not inconspicuous. Yeah, she's on a mission, unfortunately, for her whole movie. If you ever wanted to see Charlize Theron remove a suppository from a goth dude's mouth and swallow it, look no further than the 5-minute mark.
That was the most disgusting kiss.
That is easily the most disgusting image in the film.
They were trying to like do a scene from the animated series, and they just failed because it just looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's mostly some things you can do in animation that you cannot do in live action. They didn't learn that from doing this movie at all, and they tried it, and it looks horrifying.
They couldn't find the balance, because there's a balance between like being very stylized and dramatic, and then just like looking like a ding dong.
Yeah, she had to meet a covert operator to get some information, and it's in the form of this pill. When you swallow it, then you're gonna get the message, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. So that's who she's walking through this park. Not really. And
honestly, this kind of movie needs at least $100 million budget.
The
effects on this movie were absolutely
terrible. Who was in charge of her hair? South Park?
I know.
Her hair is terrible in this film.
I will say that was her.
That is a real hair? Oh God.
Yeah. It looked like that Kate Gosselin 2000 haircut that was really popular. That's like short in the back, party in the front.
It looked like T-Boz from TLC.
Yes. But they should have put a wig on her or fluffed it out because the cartoon looks nothing like her.
No,
like the cartoon character has big hair.
She has big hair. Yeah, I know. If everybody's seen it, you know what we're talking about. It's not even close to it. Aeon, we have an assignment. The first assignment should be to get Frances Dorman some medical attention stats, since it looked like she was electrocuted by an exposed lighting cable around the 6-minute mark.
I feel like
Jesus Christ, her hair is terrible.
Like the first 4 years of Lady Gaga's career.
She must have been paid by the line, since she only appears in on this unfinished British courtroom set. The set doesn't even look like it was done. It's just white, and you're on a podium. So basically, when you get the message, folks, and she swallows the blue pill from the other dude, it goes into her brain, and then she appears in this whacked out land where she's in a different costume, which is essentially a nude costume. But she has her hands over her crotch the entire time because she refused to do full nudity, and I don't blame her. And then Frances McDormand.
It was PG-13.
That would be the other reason. And Frances McDormand with this whacked out hair, man, like really bad. I don't even know if that's her own hair. I think that's a wig. I hope to hell that was poor Frances did not have her own hair in this. And this is a 1 day for her. She did all of her scenes on this set 1 day, and said, "I am the fuck out of here." But she's the head of the resistance, the rebel resistance, who's given the mission objectives to the different operatives, and she's given the next mission to Miss Aeon Flux here. How can I possibly ignore them? And how can we possibly ignore Theron's hair in this scene, which seems to be clearly inspired by Adolf Hitler? She's only one small mustache away from world domination. That's when she had it really matted down, and it's got that weird fucking part, that Hitler part. Super creepy. Yeah, her hair just... it's so distracting.
Like, she looks crazy.
Nobody's looking through the camera?
A soccer mom that's like used to be a goth. It's awful.
You mean like a soccer mom who works at Hot Topic?
There's good things here. Well, there's one. Was anyone else expecting Theron to aggressively start making out with that other chick while Journey plays in the background during this scene?
Oh my god.
I didn't know later it was her sister, but they, so she was supposed to have a dinner date with this other girl. We don't know it's her sister. It's a really cute young girl. I forget the actress's name. And before
Amelia Warner, who is actually married to 50 Shades of Grey, Jamie Dornan.
Oh, Jesus, really? She married to that fucking guy? Oh, Christ almighty. All right, well, that explains a little bit, I guess. Anyway, so they apparently are sisters, and they meet out in the marketplace. And but I thought she was just going to start making... I didn't know they were sisters until a little bit later. So the way the Theron was looking at her, I'm thinking, man, I was waiting for that monster scene. That would have been awesome. But we didn't get that, unfortunately, no.
Oh, see, okay, I got the vibe of like, oh, you little naive sister.
Oh, no, I thought she was into her. As a result, she has to go do this mission to get some information for the Resistance before she can have her little dinner date with her sister. Hey, when you're storming the castle at night, white is a great color to wear. Theron looks like she's on her way to an underground silo on the island around the 8-minute mark. So she has to go do this covert operation at night. She's dressed in white.
And Sharon Stone's like basic instinct outfit.
Yeah, what? What was... Oh, God. It's just one bad car and heels. She's in wedges, right? Everybody's in wedges in this film. Everybody's wearing these fucked...
new thing in the future.
Is that what it is?
And they try to, like, make a point of them being functional at some point, and I'm like, yeah,
I know. Don't try. Yeah, you cannot do all this acrobatic shit. So she's leaping on walls and backflips down into this compound where she has to do everything. Again, in wedges, it's nearly impossible to do that shit. So obviously a lot of assisted wire work on her part. I had a family once. I had a life. This is what I say every week before flushing the next cinematic turd. Kind of a sad moment there. We'll put the wah-wah in there. This is our moment. We've never been stronger. Or funnier for that matter. I don't know where this line is coming from. Oh, yeah, because, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so she has to, yeah, all right, so I'm jumping in. So she does the first mission, and that's just to throw some shit into a pool of water that screws up the memories that are stored there. Because they're in a dystopian society, folks. The world's been wiped out, I told you about. Everybody's in a dystopian society, and they've been there for 400 years. And there's something funky going on because... Oh,
people are kidnapped.
Yeah, people are kidnapped and killed by random and stuff like that. We're not sure...
Well, they disappear. They don't know for sure that they're killed. They just disappear.
Right. Still can't surprise you. Nor the audience is Hotel Rwanda's Sophie Okanoto. I knew I was going to fuck that up. Shows up for around the 50 mark with hands for feet, like she just came from the freak show exhibit at a traveling carnival. How come she's the only one that has that stupid shit on her?
Yeah, they don't explain that.
Nothing's explained.
Nobody else has
hands for feet or arm, right?
Yeah, any kind of like weird modification.
It's really dumb.
I'm sorry. That would be really interesting if you would see like a whole bunch of people in the Monicans who have weird ass like body modifications.
That would have been better, but I guess the budget ran out. This is obviously cultural appropriation of apes. So we need to knock that shit off right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? No, you know what I saw?
Hands for feet.
A double dose of like poor post-Oscar choices because Sophie was nominated, Charlize won, and this was the book chose to do next.
So what are you saying? Like if Sophie had won, then Charlize would have to have hands on her feet? So yeah, she has hands on her feet, folks. Just roll with it. She's the only fucking character in this film that has some whacked out genetic or DNA or splicing going on. Ready for Theron and the feet hands chick to outrun vagina looking eggplants that shoot poison darts around the 16-minute mark? Sure. And then I wrote right after, if Sarah Polton was able to shoot poison darts out of her vag, she'd probably had better luck with men. Well, for now. She has one for now.
I can't shoot poison darts out. How I got my boyfriend.
Zap one right into his face, and then that was the end of that.
Oh, God. He's going to listen to this and be like, this is my girlfriend.
So anyway, there's this obstacle course they have to run to get into the main compound of where the government runs the whole thing. And as a result of that, it's all the stuff that works well in animation that does not work well in live action. So vagina-looking eggplants looks like something out of a Tim Burton film. It does not look like something out of a futuristic sci-fi action thing. It's really out of place, and there's some grass blades that come up, and I'll get to that in 1 second. We understand these now. This improbable parkour sequence as Theron and the hands-feet chick leaping around like they're part of a Cirque du Soleil performance. No, I don't really understand this at all.
I thought about Cirque du Soleil.
Parkour.
During this, I was like, this is the worst Cirque du Soleil ever. I want
my
money back.
There's so much wire work
for free. And I want my money back.
There's a lot of wire work going on, and it's obvious wire work, and it's badly edited and badly shot.
I'm sorry, but Sophie's feet got like
feet hands.
They were impaled on multiple points, and she was just like walking around like, oh, it's fine.
I know. So they basically have to maneuver across this, nice little garden to get to the main building. And like I said, I mentioned the vagina plants, and now they have the grass blades are like blades or actual metal blades that come up out of the ground to stab people. And like Griffin was just lamenting about. The hands-feet chick would have been out of commission. If you landed on them with your feet, you're done for the day. I'm done.
I mean, they went through her hand.
I step on a fucking Lego, and I'm down for an hour. So you can,
they make slippers specifically for parents.
To pick them up?
Around and not get Legos.
I know, but they pick them up. I think they have the bottoms you can pick up the Legos with the slippers. Yeah. But honestly, obviously, if you're going to land on, blades of steel, you're done, especially for the hands-feet chick. Anyway, Theron managed to avoid it.
Honor.
Yes.
Were they blades of blue steel?
Yes, Derek, they were. So when Theron makes it to the end of the thing, instead of her stepping on it, she managed to do this split that I would have busted a groin trying to do. And it was done in such a way that she had to be on wires. There's no physical way.
That was an advanced yoga position.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay, maybe I haven't taken that. Is that a Burkham yoga class? I'm not sure what class that is. Or is
what kind of yoga? Burkham? Is that what you
said? It's Bikram.
Really, guys? Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna bust my balls over on
yoga. It's basically like joining a cult.
It's Burkham, yeah. It is a cult.
Yeah, it's like a rapey cult.
It's either that or it was the same yoga class that you went to that the yoga hosers went to. Justin Law.
Oh, yeah.
So either one of those classes.
There's only two people in the class.
The two. Yeah, that's a really small class, guys. I do recommend that one. Or the Bikram. What's that hot yoga? Is that the Bikram yoga or the Bikram or whatever you're calling it?
Bikram, yeah. Bikram is the class they took was 120 degrees.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
90 minutes. I used to do it 4 times a week.
You must have looked. You must have been a hot, sweaty mess.
Basically, you sweat until you want to sleep with.
Did your underwear just fall off at that point? Did it just like? It's just all sweat.
No, it just sticks to you.
Ew. Mm-hmm. All right, never mind. I'm asking too many questions. We can't go too far with them. Unlike this film, which went way too far from its source material. Hey-o. I believe in protecting what we create. Okay, so they basically go in, and she completes the mission, which I told you before involves dropping a Fabergé egg into a pool of water, which dissipates a bunch of memories, which I have no idea what even that I'm talking about. But she zip lines in and zip lines out, and that's the end of that. Now we have to switch to the bad guys of the film, which is this big roundtable discussion. And we get the line, I believe in protecting what we've created. I won't apologize for that. Actor Johnny Lee Miller also doesn't seem to be apologizing for his awful acting skills.
Oh,
was he ever good?
The thing is, he's a good actor, and also he has better hair than this. Who did he piss off that they made him look like his hair was like hanging on for dear life?
It does look like somebody peed on his head. I never really cared for him as an actor. I guess he's gotten better over the years. Yes.
How would you know what it looks like when someone pees on someone's head?
Well, you haven't been. Yeah, you haven't been where I've been. You don't want to go where I've been. So just don't. Again, you're asking too many questions. Regardless of the urinating on the head, Johnny Lee Miller, I just never liked him as an actor overall. I guess he has improved, and is he on? Doesn't he do Sherlock Holmes? Is that him or is that somebody else?
Yeah, my mom loves it. Like my mom.
Okay, so all right.
He is good.
He's gotten better. He's gotten better.
Really good actors on that show.
So this basically her next mission is to kill the head of this whole compound, and that turns out to be a guy named Trevor, and we'll talk about Trevor Goodchild, which is the Goodchild complex. So she's sent to dispatch him. She manages. He's going to be practicing a speech, a la in the same theater where Lincoln got shot, and she shows up and she's supposed to kill him, and she doesn't because we get this line: "Catherine, it's you." That's why I said, is anyone else surprised Theron's character and her target, Trevor, were once involved? Anyone? First of all, who names their villain Trevor? He's not the ultimate villain. I'll let you know that now. But he sounds like an asshole who owns an oversized yacht in the Hamptons. Not the main antagonist for a dystopian sci-fi turd. That's it. Was Kevin Spacey not available for this role? That's why I said Marton Csokas delivers every one of his lines like he attended the Clive Owen School of Dramatic Arts. He's terrible in this. I think Kevin Spacey would have better choice.
Better, but not Kevin Spacey.
Oh, you don't think so?
I'm sorry. Don't you want like sexual chemistry between them?
These guys don't have any. But okay.
I mean, wouldn't you like some?
Yeah.
Between the characters?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then.
The characters hook up in the cartoon, and that's his name.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Is Trevor
like the
really?
only thing they took.
It doesn't. It's a terrible name.
What would you like? Like Jared?
I think they all should have been named after minions, like Phil and Tim.
Oh my God, you're.
Oh God. Now I want to get a dog and name it Trevor.
Yeah, see? Yeah, well, actually, the reason I say that, my mother has a dachshund that's named Trevor, so I gotta give a shout out to my mother's fucking dog that's named Trevor. She does not listen to our show.
Just name me like Craig.
Yeah, Craig, like Phil. Like minion names.
Honor thinks that no character can be named Trevor because his mom has a dog named
No,
Trevor.
that's it. Right? Yeah. When you guys, when you do that, when you
Hey, I was thinking about naming this character Trevor. You know what? There's this guy named Honor, and his mom's got a dog named Trevor.
No,
so like,
no.
I don't think we can do it. Like,
well,
that's a point.
You guys, you gotta realize once you name, like when you project that onto an animal, it's very hard to take a human seriously. It's like if you called the dog Phil and then you knew a guy Phil, you know? It is. You should name a dog name and not names like Trevor, because like that's what I thought. I honest to God, that's what I thought it was my mother's dachshund when watching this film, and that's what threw me out of the movie. I'm like, oh, this is not gonna work for me at all. But yeah, so Trevor is he's not the ultimate villain, folks. We're not spoilers, but he's considered right now to be the prime antagonist for the film. And again, Marton Csokas, I can't pronounce this guy's name. He's shown up in a bunch of films. He's the guy he looks a little like Clive Owen. He has that look. He has that villain look that you've seen in a million other films.
He's like a bland composite.
Oh, he's very bland. He's terrible. Yeah, he's all of his line delivery.
You know what he looks like? We couldn't get the other guy.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
Good boys. When the highlight of your sci-fi turd is a group of explosive CGI pinballs, you know your film sucks. 28-minute mark. So basically, they capture her because she can't pull the trigger because she recognizes them, and she doesn't know why she recognizes them.
Catherine.
Yeah, she gets knocked over the head and thrown into this really small cell that OJ was just in case you're keeping up with current events.
He's still there until October.
There you go. All right, till October. So, but getting to that location, she dropped a bunch of these CGI pinballs that kind of roll around, which I thought was actually kind of interesting. And then they kind of blow open the wall so she can promptly escape from that prison.
Hey, Honor, by the way, OJ's keeping that cell warm for Bill Cosby.
Oh, she failed. It's the first time she has, which is a shame, since this movie could have ended early if she succeeded. Boy, she killed him right then and there. We would have to watch any of this. This film is a lot longer than the animated series combined.
I will say, you make fun of the balls. Like
the pinballs. They're pinballs, not balls.
Yeah, but they're balls, okay? They're metal balls.
Oh, that's what she said.
But I'm saying
the balls of steel.
That's my line. So I like that was one of the only special effects that I like. Enjoyed.
Yeah, that's why I thought that was okay. I thought that, but that's where all the money went.
That was cool. That was super cool.
All right.
But we also understood it. Like, it made sense. Like,
unlike most of the film.
There's this little gadget, we get it done. Other things that they do make no fucking sense. They never explain it.
It was like Hansel and Gretel if like Gretel was a badass, like dropping those instead of.
Don't you mean Hansel and Gretel?
Stop mentioning Hansel, Hansel.
Man, if David Bowie showed up and they had a walk off in this film, I would have gave it a thumbs up easily.
Yeah,
but we need a Bowie. This film definitely needed Bowie. It can't be traced to you in any case. Film attempts to hit Shakespearean levels around the 30-minute mark when we find out Johnny Lee Miller's character is trying to kill his own brother, which is that Trevor guy we mentioned, but lands with as much impact as watching an old episode of Knots Landing. So we got some internal shit going on here, folks. The real villain of the piece is going to turn out to be Johnny Lee Miller. And Trevor is actually kind of a good guy, but I know it sounds weird. Bear with us. But they're brothers, and we'll find out what the ultimate reasoning why. Basically, Johnny Lee Miller wants to keep the status quo. He doesn't want anything to change. They've been around for 400 years. He wants to keep what's happening the same, whereas Trevor wants to progress and move forward. Once we find out
something did change.
Right, exactly. What are we really doing here, Claudius? Trying to look like I didn't have to go back for reshoots on this turn around the 33-minute mark. Theron's hair goes from blown dry to post-bukkake in one reverse shot. I don't know if you guys noticed that. She goes hunts down that guy Claudius in the
yeah, absolutely.
And in the low angle shot of her hair is all poofed out, which is clearly a reshoot. And then they come up and they do the reverse shot, and it looks like somebody just came on her head. It's all flattened down and greasy.
Something about Mary hair.
Yeah. But it's guys, you didn't even bother to match that. They usually, when they do these films, folks, there's a PA on set or costume designer's assistant, and what she does is in between shots, she takes Polaroid shots of the character, of the actor, so they can match it from scene to scene. So they should have had a shot of her matted down hair when they went and shot the reverse shot of her poofed out hair. I mean, guys, it's just a simple thing to do.
But we heard what Charlie said about this film. During the reshoots, she was probably like, just fuck it. She's like,
I think she was.
Nah, don't worry about it. It's gonna be bullshit anyway. Don't worry about it.
Nobody's gonna notice, but now they're not gonna be saying that because they know we're around. Oh shit, you better get it right, so Restroom Cinema. Gonna pick that shit out immediately.
Oh, so is Brett Ratner gonna blame us for his films?
Yeah, a lot of Hollywood people are shaking in their boots now when they make movies. Oh no, Soil Restroom Cinema. We better do that shot again.
Right?
Something happened when they cured the industrial disease. Cue Dire Straits. You ladies might not get that reference. But in fact, you didn't. Okay, crickets. I hear crickets. So we'll keep moving on that one. Somebody out there got that.
It reminded me of Orphan Black. A lot of it. No, seriously, it's like Orphan Black.
There's a
lot of elements from this movie and did it the right way.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of hodgepodge sci-fi dystopian stuff. I don't even know if they tried that hard to really equate the look of the anime series because that one is such a distinct look. You can't adapt it into a live-action film. I guess maybe that's the point of why we're flushing this, aside from Miss Theron appearing in Atomic Blonde tomorrow, is the fact that some things just can't be adapted. And not everything, like a book won't always translate to a movie. And likewise, an animated series is not always going to translate to a live action. Some things just have to exist in the art form in which they are created. And Aeon Flux is a really specific art form.
Like Walking Dead and Preacher and stuff like that. I feel like it could now.
So you want to see a reboot of this?
It would have to be so different than what we just saw. And it would have to be, I think, really over the top and like really.
Yes, I agree with that.
How just like super visceral and sexual and just gnarly and gritty.
Maybe the Wachowski sisters could.
Well, I could do that, or maybe
they probably could.
I would say them, or maybe Edgar Wright can slide this in.
No, he's not good in terms of like female.
You know what? J.J. Abrams just revived everything.
No, not him. No, we're not. We don't need more lens flare.
He knows how to get gritty.
We got to remember that the original series is very gritty. It's not as clean and aesthetic.
I was looking up clips of it, and there was this lady just licking this dude's nipple while he was.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
What am I watching?
That's a weekend.
Upsetting.
That's a Friday night. Don't worry about it. Everything changed when I saw you. Your hair, your outfit, your taste in decent films. Everything. Appearing in decent films, I should say. I kind of shot over that joke.
Why do I feel this way?
Yeah, so she basically, she goes back to circle back around to meet Mr. Trevor, my mother's dachshund, in a room in the compound. Why do I feel this way about you? Was anyone else grossed out by Theron and Trevor making out like two 9-year-olds on a playground around the 36-minute mark? Guys, I've seen more passion expressed in large bowel movements than anything in this film. They are really, gross together, guys. I don't bite. There's no chemistry between them at all. The actors are forced to do that.
I didn't feel like it was a lack of chemistry. It was just like something. Something about it was really uncomfortable.
It's really off.
Well, part of it was like she doesn't even know why she wants to. He won't. He knows why.
Yeah, he knows why. He knows the reason.
Maybe that's why, because, I know where this is going, and him not telling her, and she's just like, oh, I just want to kiss. It's just felt gross.
I know. I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of in this film, unfortunately. It's just a matter of time before people will question what's happened here. I'm sure Aeon Flux creator Peter Chung is still questioning what happened to a series 40-minute mark. She sleeps with him. Thank God we didn't have to see a sex scene, and we're spared that. So the next morning she gets up, and then she chokes him into unconsciousness. Which I thought was a it's a little bizarro. And then we have to watch her slow motion getting dressed, which who gives it? It's a lot of spandex to put on. She's got to put on that fucked up black outfit, and then she manages to find her way into the downstairs part of the her secret basement part, which is a library that turns into she teleports to a secret lab via a octopus that attaches herself to her chest. I'm not really making a lot of this up. This is pretty much what's happening. But when she gets back from the lab, we get this line where it says, "Found you for a girl-on-girl fight sequence that no one asked for, guys." Around the 41-minute mark. You know what the production designer thought of this turd when he constructed a giant anus in the wall for Theron to escape through around the 42-minute mark? That was that hole that opens up.
Can I just interrupt to explain why this is so fucked
up?
Yeah,
please break this down for me because I'm kind of skimming over some of this.
I was looking up the writers of this
and
seeing what else they have done. Hey, we got some past hits. R.A.P.D.
Oh no, really? We flushed it.
And Ride Along 2.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. And I actually
Clash of the Titans And
oh, God.
And the tuxedo.
Oh, it's just all horrible, horrible films, folks.
But the thing is, they also did Crazy Beautiful, which was amazing.
Yeah, that was, actually. Okay, so they basically made shit films for the 90% of their work. This is no expense. All right, that explains a lot. Trevor has betrayed us all. Well, his name is Trevor, after all. You should have seen this coming. I guess, except for my mother's dog, you can't trust anybody named Trevor. You really can't. They're assholes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And folks, if there's a Trevor out there listening to our show, don't tweet at me. It's comedy, folks. Well, it's comedy in quotes. Let's not get nuts here, but
if his name was Tyler, I would totally.
Yeah, if it was Tyler. Yeah, Tyler's fine. What's your boyfriend's name there, Polton?
It's Ryan. It's the same name as my brother.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we'll redact that. Right.
Yeah, no, his name is Ryan.
We're gonna redact Ryan's name. Ryan's name will be redacted. He will not appear in this episode at all. Catherine, come back. Theron leaps improbably onto a blimp around the 50-minute mark, which looks more like a giant glowing birth control sponge than it does a blimp.
No, it's an ovary. It's like a floating ovary.
Who says the future isn't cool? So anyway, we're not kidding, folks. It's either an ovary or a birth control sponge. It's glowing and it's got a tail on it. And it's floating in the air, and it's constantly circling this city.
Considering what it contains, I really think they meant for it to be like a floating ovary.
I think you might be right, because it's containing the memories and the DNA information of everybody in the city, and we'll talk about that in a second. So it has to keep circling the city. I don't know why it's up there, why they couldn't put this in another location, why we have to have, I guess because we have to have a set piece where Theron has to do more stunt work.
Well, they said it's like a memorial.
Welcome back. Anyone want to hazard a guess as to why veteran actor Pete Postlethwaite is decked out like an old circumcised penis around the 51-minute mark?
What? He looks like one of those grub worms when he goes fishing.
My God! What costuming asshole thought this look wouldn't drive audience into hysterical fits of laughter? This is literally the nadir of his career. This is Pete Postlethwaite, who is just a brilliant, brilliant actor. He's dressed like a giant dick. Didn't anybody say anything?
I know. Again,
come on.
It looks like a grub worm.
No, well, it's not pretty when you see this. It's horrific.
I don't know. He's got a hood, so I don't know if it's...
Well, it's circumcised. No, the hood's down. If he would...
Oh, God. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah. I don't know how he okayed that. I thought, obviously, it was a one-day shoot for him. He's barely in it. But, folks, we're not kidding. 51-minute mark. And guys, this is free on Amazon Prime. If you guys are Prime subscribers, you can just go and click through the minute marks that we're mentioning and not have to pay. So have at it. And just let us know. And somebody want to get a screenshot of Pete Postlethwaite as a dick? We'd love to see that too. So tweet that to us.
No.
Actually, just tweet it directly to Sarah Polton. She really appreciates visual stuff like that.
Sure.
Kill her and then complete her mission. So basically, I'm sorry, when she gets up into the blimp, it turns out to be kind of a storage space for all the DNA of everybody down there, and she's able to access records and people. And she's looking for her sister. We should mention that sister that we mentioned was murdered, and that's what throws her into a rage about getting revenge and killing the lead guy Trevor. So she has to go get information, but in that she finds out her sister is alive, kinda, sorta, and living somewhere else, and that's where she's gonna be going next. Kill her and then complete her mission. Which would sound much more convincing if Frances McDormand didn't look like she just finished up her clown performance at some rich kid's birthday party. 53-minute mark. I know it's another cheap shot against the veteran actress Frances McDormand, but Jesus, Frances, if she did this and then she was talking to Optimus Prime. She's had a spotty career, honestly, Frances. You got to start picking better shit. She hires because what's her name? Theron's character goes rogue. She brings in another set of operatives to go kill Aeon Flux and then finish the mission of killing Trevor. Because at this point, she has doubts about Trevor being the actual villain because, as we'll find out. All actions are authorized by adjunct chairman Orrin Goodchild. Fortunately, here we go, guys. The main villain of this turd is not Trevor, but an equally dumb named Orrin instead. What happened to the cool villain names like Goldfinger and Hans Gruber? Trevor and Orrin sound like they should be running a country club.
I just love that, no one can name their character Trevor because that's your dog.
Look, if you saw a picture of Trevor, you would understand why I am against this. But we'll tweet that out to you. You cloned her. I cloned everyone. Well, guys, we finally figure out we're watching a prequel to Michael Bay's The Island around the 57-minute mark. Well, shit. So there you go, folks. It turns out this industrial disease has wiped out a lot of people and then made the rest of the chicks sterile, so they couldn't procreate and continue.
Sterile?
Or sterile. I've been drinking. Really, Griff? Yeah,
I've been drinking.
As a result, they they perfected cloning like immediately, like just okay, we start cloning people.
Yeah, they can't.
There's one shot of a monkey,
but
right?
They can clone people,
right?
No problem.
So they've been cloning the same people over and over and over again for 400 years, which it's a rewind episode. It's a little bizarro, but all right, we're going to slide with that. So everybody's clones. That's the big secret, folks. And the information database to keep the clones and the DNAs and that stupid ovary blimp that we've been talking about that Theron was checking out. So that's why. And Johnny Lee Miller wants to keep the clones going because if he does, he can live forever. Whereas Trevor finds out that females might be fertile again.
Well, no, they rip off a line from Jurassic Park. Life finds a way.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, there you go, folks. Cheap Jurassic Park reference. That's what we are. She goes to the house to find her sister. It turns out it's an infant, and that's when she realizes that they've been cloning people. Trevor shows up, and he, not my mother's dog, the actual Trevor, Marton Csokas shows up, and he gives the information that they are clones, and then she says, that's what we are, copies. And I said, duh. For an elite assassin, Theron's character doesn't catch on too quick, does she? She just explained this whole thing. Yes, you're copies. That's what clones are. It's just, oh, God. He wants...
But she's only been copied once.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's more to uncover, folks. You need to get the bullets out. The soldiers, Johnny Lee Miller now wants Trevor stopped, and he sends his heavily armed soldiers to the place where they are, and there's a big shootout, a big action scene. We're not really going into a lot of detail with the action scenes, folks. They're just standard shot action scenes, standard wire work, standard stunts. It's nothing you haven't seen before, nothing.
Except for the subway system that looks like eggs.
Yeah, and it's really bad CGI in that one too.
Yeah,
green screen involved in that. Yeah,
it's a little egg. Yeah,
sponsored
subway system.
There's an egg. There's an egg carton.
Like we get it. It's about fertility.
You need to get the bullets out, which will involve Theron digging one out of a Trevor's ass around the hour and 6-minute mark. Enjoy that one, folks.
Someone riddle me this. So she digs these bullets out of him, and then she pulls off some weird ass Band-Aid on her skin, and then heals him up.
Right.
But her hand is gushing blood.
I know, yeah, I know. She didn't cut her hand on that piece of glass.
Hey, maybe you use one of those little thingies on your hand, huh?
Yeah, I know. She just wraps a bandage like Chuck Norris in Missing in Action.
Am I missing something? Yeah. Like she can heal a bullet wound, but her own hand, fuck.
And I will say, one of the few things I was like, that's funny. She goes, did any of them miss?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she is kind of a dick. Shoot us or help us, but do it quickly. I vote for shooting on that one. So
it's a Sound of Music Rolf moment.
Yeah, there's a Sound of Music Rolf moment as they encounter a couple of Mr. Miller's soldiers, young kids, who turn the tide and decide to follow Trevor, not my mother's dog, Marton Csokas' character, and Charlize Theron. You Are My Wife. Did anybody else not see this one coming? So it turns out the original people, Trevor and Charlize Theron, were a married couple. He's been cloning his old lady for 400 years, or at least she was. No, she didn't. Right.
He was waiting until he could find a cure to clone her.
Right, but somehow she ended up getting cloned because the walking dick, Pete Postlethwaite. He's such a good actor. I hate really saying that in the same sentence, but we apologize, Pete, if you're listening. I do apologize. It's chaos out there. Said the assistant director often while making this film. Heyo. All right. I know, cheap joke there. Living like this is torture. Boy, you are telling us. Try watching your own film, Theron. But apparently I can't use that joke because she admitted that this film sucks in that interview that Griffin mentioned earlier. So, you know what, Theron? I'll let you off the hook because at least you came clean on that in a recent interview, and just admitted that, sometimes you get outside your, the wheelhouse and you don't know how to get back in.
Sometimes you take risks and they don't pay off.
Finish it. Please finish something as everyone stands around in a Monacan standoff. Get it? Around the hour and 16-minute mark. Or maybe you don't get it, but all right. So anyway, all the characters...
the Karate Kid thing?
It was a riff on Mexican standoff, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody got it. Talk about, how when Johnny Lee Miller confesses to what he's been doing, you know how they say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater?
Right.
It's like they're throwing the bathwater out with the baby.
So basically, all the characters come into the same place at the same time, which is this courtyard, circleized courtyard, and it's Miller and Trevor and Charlize Theron. It's a big standoff. Anyway, the elite team of assassins is up on towers, ready to shoot Theron and complete their mission.
And then Johnny Lee Miller admits he's been killing the women because they're pregnant.
Right.
All the women who are pregnant.
We should mention that, nature had found a way. Women are able to get pregnant again. Johnny Lee Miller finds out about this, and again, he just wants to keep on living forever and having clones.
He's throwing the bathwater out with the baby.
There you go. But bump. And as a result, he's killing all the women. Trevor's like, no. And here we are with this Monacan standoff at the hour and 16-minute mark. She's headed to the courtyard, where she'll be able to wipe out a group of soldiers while standing around in the open, despite not having the high ground, sure. How did she manage that? She probably would have been killed instantly as soon as she walked into that courtyard. But, guys...
My thing is, when she stuck her finger, into a wound to get to her, little transmitter thing...
To send a message to
how many infections? How many staph infections?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you could... Yeah, all right. Sathandra. Orin blows feet hands from the watchtower, Johnny Lee Miller character, only to be abruptly killed moments later by Theron, because then she turns around and shoots him. Johnny Lee Miller, it's a terrible death scene for him. His brother has to watch him die. Trevor, not my mother's dog, the actual character actor. And then Orin, Johnny Lee Miller was out of the film. You were the one who saved me. I wouldn't go around advertising that, Furiosa. You were saved by a giant walking circumcised penis at the hour and 21-minute mark. So as we find out, her DNA was supposed to be destroyed, and Pete Postlethwaite decides that she's... Her
DNA was good, and like Sarah said in her Thunderdump titles, this is some fucked up Handmaid's Tale shit.
There really is.
Yeah.
I knew your strength would survive you. From 400 years of cloning? I call bullshit on that dick talking. Hey-oh. Sorry, Pete, but that was his consensus for reviving her, or cloning her over and over again, was that her strength would survive her, that she would be this leader 400 years in the future. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all, but all right. She's just a chick, dude. It was a chick that was married to Trevor. Stay alive, Aeon. You are needed. If you ever want to see Charlize Theron ride a giant birth control sponge into a wall, you're going to get your wish around the hour and 24-minute mark. So basically, she has to blow up the ovary, which happens every month for some women.
She's like the ovary Zeppelin.
Not Led Zeppelin, ovary Zeppelin.
Birth control sponge. Where do I get one?
So anyway, she blows up that big ovary and crashes into the ground with some horribly bad CGI. Man, 2005 graphics suck.
While she goes down a Cirque du Soleil, like you said earlier, a Cirque du Soleil show.
Oh yeah,
hanging by
right.
the silk streamers. Yep. And the CGI was so bad.
It's so bad.
And again, I would like to see this story adapted properly, rated R or a TVMA series with the proper special effects.
I agree. I think
these were bullshit.
I don't know. I say that some things can't be adapted. Maybe no, we can. I don't know. We'll see. Poor Peter Chung will never allow that. But hey, Catherine, will I see you again? Thank God, no. We will not see her again. The last shot is the flashback scene of them two when they first met her after they fucked the first time, and she takes off, and then that's literally the end of the film. Griffin on credits? Was there anything?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry if Charlize Theron knew
there could have been
a shit movie. No, and I have watched this in the past, all the way through to the credits.
Oh, is that? So there could have been a Thanos Infinity Gauntlet moment.
No,
I watched it with drooling with my mouth open.
That's sexy.
Nothing happened.
Super sexy on Polton's end of stuff.
God, just a lot of drool.
Oh, Christ. This film, thank God. At least I'm grateful that Theron owned up to it in a recent interview and said, look, we didn't do our best work here. Because it shows. This is just a complete... People, always are quick to laud, their highlights. But they do crap films, folks, every now and then. And this is definitely one of them. And if you don't remember, it's probably for a good reason, because the film tanked on impact when it came out. And was universally hated by Peter Chung fans and just the sci-fi action fans. It's a complete disaster from start to finish. So... Atomic Blonde opens tomorrow. She's getting rave reviews. You probably should go see that this weekend. After you, of course, listen to our episode. All right, so there you go, folks. That is Aeon Flux for this week. We took it out and played with it a lot longer than we should have. Can we flush it, ladies? Can we please flush it?
Flux it down the toilet.
Hey-ho! Consider it flush. All right, that is it for this week. I want to thank my lovely co-cinematic flusher, Midwest movie mogul, Colleen Griffin. and sassy cinephile Sarah Fulton. Great job as always, ladies. We're going to be back with you next week with a brand new Turn of Flush with a guest even. It's going to be magical. Until then, say goodbye, ladies.
Bye.
Sometime today. Say goodbye sometime today. Every week.
Hi, this is Nora Crest, and I want to thank you for listening this week and every week as we flush these turds down our cinematic bowl here in the restroom. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music so we attract more listeners and you don't miss a single episode. We love feedback, so email us at signalsoffury@gmail.com with your comments and suggestions for future flushes. Also, be sure to check out our home restroom on the net, signalsoffury.com. Until next time, remember, we're here to flush it so you don't have to see it. I'm Nora Crest, and this has been the award-winning Soiled Restroom Cinema.